All right, so good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market show. Hope everyone is having an amazing morning, but truly hope you had a great day yesterday, Monday, to start the week. Good morning, Norm. How you doing today?
Hey, good morning, Carlos. I'm doing well. Yourself?
Doing good. After especially a rough start
Good.
yesterday, right, with everything going on. Today is pretty smooth, so let's see how things are lined up for today. We got a quite of a bit of a nice day today already. Gappers list looking very nice. Some big drops here on some red going on here. So we'll get into those, see what kind of earnings, what kind of place we have there. And then we'll get into our NASDAQ active, NASDAQ gainers. But right now, let's look over at what we have in our list from yesterday, our watch list, which was very active. A lot of stuff moving on here. So let's go through these. So this here was my final list. There was a lot more stocks that were also very interesting that you guys were watching. So today we're just gonna go over this list here, but I'm sure there was a lot more. I saw some other really good trades people took on other stocks. So again, it's just nice when you have a lot to choose from, right? You can be picky and wait for that nice clean setup. It's really nice when things are giving you that many options. So let's start with MYL. MYL had tons of volume yesterday. It's just a very nice pre-market action here. With I think it was the volume was on yesterday was like at 4.5 million before we got to the open. So we expected it to be very volatile at the start, and it was. I mean, here it popped up nicely. I was looking for a move to sell off from VWAP. We didn't quite get that, so I was stopped out twice for small losses here. Then it did this beautiful squeeze above VWAP at that time. Once we went above VWAP, it just started taking off nicely. A lot of you guys took this long here, so this was a beautiful pop. Then the next candle, unfortunately, doesn't continue. It engulfs right back down, engulfing the previous candle. This would have been a great entry for engulfing crack towards the bottom. Unfortunately, since I was stopped out twice, I didn't want to take another trade. I didn't want to overtrade it, but I should have taken this trade. Comes all the way down, makes a new low of the day, back to VWAP to retest the VWAP here. Cannot hold, and then drops nicely all the way down to these levels we had, 2120 and this 1977, which we found from our daily. So let's go back to our daily really quick. 1977, you can see, was an area of resistance right around here, became a beautiful area of support, and look at how it bounces right from there, right? So again, just so many different ways to play MYL yesterday. So I know a lot of traders. I spoke to a few that took this reversal here because they have several reasons to take. You have a moving average down here. You had this level as well. Once it engulfs this previous candle, and if you look at this in the 15-minute, it looks beautiful. Great reversal right back up to VWAP. So that was a nice trade on MYL. Pretty much active all day. A little tough in this area here. You had to get in a good entry for a long and then another short. But again, after that, it became a beautiful trade. EXAS also was very nice, guys. Look at this beautiful opening range breakdown. You get this nice pullback right to the VWAP, which is what we like to see for opening range breakdown. If I was not in MYL, this would have been the trade I would have been in for sure. So heads right back down, cracks the low of the day. I got in here for a short, was not patient enough, so got out at break even once it took too long to break this low of the day. But then it drops real nice right to this level here, and then it does a VWAP reversal back to VWAP. Here consolidates, it's kind of like a bull flag consolidating right under the VWAP, and then you see a beautiful pop, hits the high of around here, 106.56 of this candle here, and then heads right towards the high of the day. Look at this towards the close. Towards the close, it just takes off amazing here, going from all the way to 110. I know exactly what's 110 because I had an order out here when I took this reversal. Right over here is 110, and it took a while to get there. And finally, when I get out, it does this nonsense here. So again, just a beautiful trade on EXAS. AMD, I didn't watch the price action closely on AMD because I only was able to watch 3 stocks yesterday as we were streaming live on YouTube. So this will be the first time I'm looking at AMD. So again, not sure how this price action was. It looks like it was a great reversal ABCD here. You got your A, your B, your C, and your D. So nice reversal ABCD pattern combined with an opening range breakdown. So that was nice. But again, just didn't watch how the actual price action was on this and if it was clean enough. PayPal was another one I didn't watch neither. It looks like we have an indecision candle opening up here and finally breaks down towards the bottom, leaving the VWAP. But again, just not sure how clean that price action actually was. YNDX, this one I did peek over once in a while, but again, this was wild. The price action was really all over the place. As you remember, right before the open in the pre-market, we had this crazy volume just coming out of nowhere and create this wild range here. So after it did that, it was not one of my top ones to watch, but it did sell off nicely here. But again, this price action was a little bit crazy. Starbucks was not clean, guys. Again, it opened up with a huge indecision candle. So here's your body. Look at this range, right? Once candles do this, you got to be very careful. You know, you want to wait and sit and let them settle down. It does settle in nicely, becomes a beautiful long. And I believe a lot of you guys took it long around this area here because it gives you a nice, beautiful pop. Then it gets a little toppy around 99 and heads right back down towards VWAP, loses VWAP, and then continues all the way down almost to the low of the day, but not quite. Again, this is a big wick here, but it looks like it might have hit the low of the pre-market. Oh no, pre-market's all the way down here, so it didn't hit that. But you can see here, comes back, tests VWAP, cannot get above VWAP. That's a good indication for a nice trend trade. Tries to follow this moving average, tries to break out again, cannot make a new high, just continues down all the way towards this level here. So Starbucks looked like it traded a little clean. Once it did this here, it looked like it got into a real nice trend trade here, heading lower. So that's the stocks I had on my list, guys. Again, very active day, and today looks like we might be having the same. So a lot of stocks here we haven't seen in a while. We'll get into those in a sec. Norm, what do we have for news, notable earnings this morning?
Oh man, there's all kinds of stuff going on today. So SPY's down almost 0.5% right now. I missed exactly what was said, but apparently the president said something about the China trade talks that was not positive. So that's spiked us down just a little bit before we get started today. As far as economic data, which we've got a big week of economic data this week, personal income came out exactly as expected about 5-7 minutes ago. Consumer spending and core inflation as well. I didn't see anything that was too crazy. And then we've got a slew of earnings. It's Apple Day, so they'll be releasing after the bell. Procter and Gamble was this morning. Under Armour's release. So we've got a number of things here that could give us some catalyst for the day.
All right, excellent. So yeah, a lot going on, and we can see our gappers list is showing some of that, and you could tell the difference between last week starting on Thursday, Friday, and yesterday. You can see the number of different stocks showing up here into our gappers list, right? So it's kind of it's a lot more opportunities when we get into this earnings season, a lot more things that are running. So that's the one thing that's great about this time of the year. So let's get into our gappers list. Let's remove this right in here. SPY is opening up pretty flat this morning, not doing much. All right, so let's get into the first one. Let's start with PG. So PG is up 4.5. Now their earnings is later on today, you said, or did they go already?
Procter and Gamble released this morning. Yeah,
this morning.
And they had a really strong report, up 4.5% on that.
Right, yeah, so they're looking pretty strong right now. 347,000 shares traded so far. Let's remove some of these levels. It has a nice daily on here. You can see it, just a nice little bounce back since June. Taking some few dips here. Took a dip here. Last 3 days have been really good, I guess, in expectation of a pop here. So we can see here with the earnings, they're gapping up pretty nicely this morning. Let's take a look at the pre-market action. So pre-market activity. Right now, it actually looks pretty good because I know this is an IC stock, and they usually don't have the greatest pre-market activity, especially this big company here. So I'm looking okay for pre-market activity wise. So we'll keep that on there, definitely in play today. SNE trace a little funky, guys. It is a foreign stock, obviously Sony, and you can see here on the daily, you got all these nice gaps here that are creating, just not the greatest daily chart for sure. But today it looks like it is in play. Do we have earnings on Sony today? Nor might have his mic muted.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, they released earnings this morning. I haven't paid a lot of attention to it just because it's a foreign company, so I won't be watching it myself.
Yeah, I'm not watching it either. It doesn't trade very well, guys. It got some volume today, 462,000 shares traded. But look at the pre-market action. It's not great. And also, if you look at just the daily charts we mentioned before, it's nothing too exciting about this one. So, and we have looked at this one in the past, at least I have, and the price action is just not clean. So I'm going to remove this one now so we don't spend time on it. PFE was active yesterday. It's down today another 210,000 shares traded. I did not have this one on my list, but it looks like it was a great one to have. Look at this nice drop here. on PFE. Let's just go back and see what the price action looked like. So it looked like a nice little pop here. Couldn't stay above this moving average. That might be the 200 maybe on the 5-minute chart, but you can see here, beautiful drop, least VWAP, and then it comes into a nice trend trade. So it traded okay, not bad, not bad. Looks like if that pre-market if that price action was clean, it looked like it traded very well. So today's down another 2.3. We have some nice areas there, a good daily chart with some good levels we can find. As you can see right on here, that'll be one that we'll mark down. And then we have some more down here already. We'll go back and check how relevant those are, given where the price action is now. So this one looks good. Next we have UA. So let's see what UA is doing here. UA down 11.6. So this is Under Armour. Pre-market activity not looking all that great at the moment. But I do like the daily chart here. So we have a nice daily. You can see areas of support and resistance. We have some levels from the past that we might need to update. This one still looks good. This 1833. Oops. This 1833 here still looks great. Got some areas right on there. I don't think we'll get all the way down there. We got a moving average in here, but the daily looks nice on this one. So I like the way this is setting up. The pre-market activity does not look great, but it is early, only 8:40 Eastern time. Let's hope this gets better. It is a nicey stock, and unfortunately, if you're with CME, you don't have shares for sure as of right now. So that's a bummer. Next we have, what do we have here? UAAA, which I think is also Under Armour. So
it is. They're different share classes. So if you wanted to short this, you should have them under UAA. There's no reason to watch both. They released earnings this morning. These will move very similarly. One is voting shares and the other is not. This actually got asked in the chat room, I think on Friday, about the difference between when Google released or the day after, because they have GOOG and GOOGL.
Right.
So there's no reason to watch both of them. They're typically going to move in the same kind of patterns and directions. They're generally about the same price. You can see there's a few dollar difference on UAA and UA. So, what I do is I just look at the one that's traded the most amount of shares. But if you have one that's shortable versus one that's not, that might play in your consideration too. For our purposes, it doesn't really matter if you have voting shares or not. You're not going to, if I'm trading it today, I'm obvious and getting in and out of it. I'm not going to be voting on anything.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Thank you for clearing that up, because I did not know that. It's a great thing about being part of a community, right? You have people with this type of experience like Norm that know about the market quite a bit, that can fill us in on stuff like that. So great info. And you can see they're trading up pretty much the same, although this one has a lot less volume. You can tell on here, not as clean as this one here, UAA. So I'm going to be watching this one. And now for this one, we do have shares for sure. So I'll remove the first one here, and I'll watch the second one down almost the same thing, 11%, 524,000 shares traded. And you can see, looks like we looked at this one before too, because we have this almost the same levels, right? We talked about 1833, which is a support level that's been very strong over the last couple of months. And then we have this 2097, very close towards the low of the pre-market right now. So we'll keep an eye on this one. All right, next, what do we have here? So let's go over to BYND.
Beyond the Meat.
Yes, BYND. Let's see what we got going on here. So this was active last night. Down 15.2 after earnings. Mainly happened on last night, but it looks like tonight, right now in the pre-market, we're also dropping even a bit more. So we're down. We're close at 235. We lost it last night to 193 or so, and now we're down to 188. So again, another reason why you never want to hold through earnings. You want to be very careful on something like this. 212,000 shares traded. I thought personally this thing was going to just take off, right? Given all the great news it has going on, but see, you just never know. So now,
so this is why earnings and playing earnings or aftermarket stuff can be difficult. It's a good example. So if you go back to the chart yesterday afternoon, they released results and they had a much wider loss per share than expected, which I don't think anybody really cares about this. It got goosed a little bit and popped up after the close based on just amazing growth that they had put in. And it hung out there and it sat there for a little bit. The conference call started and they got word of a secondary offering of shares, and that is when the whole thing collapsed. Now, the secondary offering on this is very small, really. I think it's 3.25 million shares or so. I mean, they could always revise it, but what they've stated is 3 point something million shares, and it really, I think it's about 10%. It'll add to the float, which isn't very much, but still, it's people are a little worried they might keep doing that.
Gotcha. Yeah, so this is again dropping nicely here, down 15.7 this morning, $34. And again, this is definitely going to be in place. So we'll find some levels on here. I don't have shares for short on this one. It is on short selling restriction today as well. But again, one that's going to be interesting to watch how it develops after the open. Next and last on this gappers list, we have SSNC. So SSNC, I don't think I've ever seen this stocker before. SSNC Technology. So that's the name of the company here. All right, so they're down quite a bit, 18.4. Daily chart looks okay, looks a little bit funky here, not as great as we've seen some other stocks trade. And just the daily chart, I'm sorry, the pre-market activity, not great. You got a lot of choppiness here, a lot of the volume, right? We traded 223,000 shares so far, half of that sitting right on this block trade here of 112,000 or so on that candle. So not looking great on the pre-market activity. Daily has a huge drop. No, do we know what's causing this huge drop today of 18.2?
They released earnings last night,
Okay.
so I'm not super familiar with them. I just know that they're a B2B software company
Gotcha.
in kind of specialized fields.
So here, let's see what we have. So let's just get familiar with their flow. So their flow is 220 million shares float. Average true range, usually a bug, doesn't move a lot, but obviously today they're definitely dropping quite a bit. So yeah, worth giving it a shot to see what's happening here. But again, the pre-market activity right now, not really too great. But we can come back and see how this develops. Hopefully this volume can start increasing and give us some nice waves here. Let's give it an opportunity to get going. Just looking back on my gappers list, we see OSTK popping up here. So let's look at OSTK, which again, this is a stock that I treat as a low float, because if you've seen the way OSTK trades, it can be very, very wild. Actually, what is the flow on OSTK? It is like a low flow, almost 26 million shares flow. So yeah, so it's pretty low. But this still moves like if it was a 10 million shares float. This is the way that type of price action is. It's very erratic. But we have taken some good trades on it when it trades well, right? It's been several days where you have some good opportunities, a good setup, but you really got to manage your risk. I'm going to throw this down here. It is up 6.4, tons of levels in here. Let's remove these. You can see there was some consolidation happening over the last several days. Finally broke out of this 1875 and then this 20 yesterday, and now we're up quite a bit. Is there any news on this particularly, or is it all technicals at the moment?
I haven't looked for anything on Overstock. I don't see any specific news. I think it's just technicals. One thing you got to keep in mind is the float on Overstock's 26 million, but the short float on it, which is the percent of shares that are held short, is something like 65%. So a lot of times that acts as restricting the float to some degree as well, and can cause really exaggerated moves.
Gotcha.
All right, so somebody chimed in that they declared a dividend.
Okay.
So I haven't seen that info, but there you go.
Yeah, so there it is. But again, it looks like there's a lot of, aside from that, it's a lot of technical stuff happening here. Because just look at this nice breakout of yesterday of this resistance here, right? So again, it's been uptrending nicely, finding a lot of resistance at 1875 and at 20, and it finally looks like it broke out of that. Looking pretty strong this morning. Great pre-market activity. Not much volume, only 120, but I expect it's going to get a lot better. But again, guys, be very careful with this stock. Manage your risk accordingly. I've seen this thing go from 17 to 20 in a matter of seconds, minutes, so you got to be very, very careful. All right, let's see. Norm, how's your top four looking this morning? I know you spoke a little bit about Apple. They're reporting later on today. They're pretty flat at the moment.
Yeah, Apple's only down about 1% at this point. They traded really well. I had a one and done day on Apple yesterday at the open. Facebook's down 1.2%, Nvidia's down 1%, and Roku is down nearly 2%. Not a ton of volume, but that's pretty normal for Roku. Yeah, I'll have my eye on them. Other than the fact that Apple will be reporting today. Not a whole lot of other news. But they've been trading well the last few days. Nvidia's sitting just a little bit above its 200-day moving average, which makes it interesting on this pullback. So we'll see.
All right, excellent. Just looked at Facebook real quick, and Facebook looks like to be losing this last area of support here. That was previous resistance in this area. You can see also some days hitting that previous day close. So that's interesting too. You also got a moving average coming in on Apple, and you got some of the moving averages curving down here. So we'll see. We'll see what we get out of those two today, Apple and Facebook. All right, guys, let's get into what you guys have this morning. What looks good that we have not gone over on this list yet. Let's see here. We have PFE. Yes, PFE we do have. BYND we have. That's going to be active. MDR. Let's take a look at MDR here and see what's going on there. So MDR, we got some activity here. Actually, you know what? Step back. I forgot one thing. NASDAQ active, NASDAQ gaining. Let's quickly go through these. VLRX. 1.3 million shares traded so far. Right now, daily chart looks okay. It looks like we had ran up before. It looks like it's great at selling down. Every time it gaps up, most often than not, it sells back down. It had 1-2 days here where it did something. Let's check what the flow is on this one. VLRX. Yeah, very low flow, guys. 5 million shares float right now. Pre-market activity is very, very active. Not as clean. I like when stuff it looks a little bit cleaner than this on these low floats, but again, you can tell this one is very active for the low flow team. So we're going to put this down here, VLRX. Next, AMD. AMD's finally active. Hasn't been active over the last couple of days in the pre-market. 1 million shares traded so far this morning. It did trade pretty decent yesterday. It looks like it's heading down here just 0.5%. You got some levels of support, some moving averages in this area. So daily wise is in a very interesting situation, and it's got some movement today with some good volume. So I'm going to put this down here as a possible. Not sure if we're going to keep that one today with all the other stuff that's moving nicely. NAKD, nothing going on. TVIX, we're going to skip all of these here. Volatility Index and NASDAQ ETFs. Just kind of shows you what the market is doing over here. All right, so let's go on BYND. We have MU. MU is not doing much right now. Actually, very ugly pre-market action today. You can see right here, just very, it usually is nasty, but today it just looks more ugly than normal. SSNC, we do have some more volume coming in, hopefully on this one. SGLB, not much happening, horrible pre-market activity. VLRX, we have, this one seems to have the most volume, the one that seems the most active on the low flow side. XSPA, nothing going on. FOMX, nothing. Next one here, we have ZBRA. ZBRA is up a nice 10% here. Let's check what the flow is on this one. ZBRA. 53 million shares float. Wow, the average true range is $7 on this. So very high ATR. As you can see here, they're gapping up 10%. Not a lot of great volume at the moment, but definitely let's look out for this one if it hits our scanners, because it does have an interesting daily here with a nice pop. And you can see some clean levels that we can go for. So next we have VRNS. Not much going on there. AYTU. Nope, no activity. MEDP, same situation, no action. CODX. This one we looked at in the past. Again, it's been gapping up before, but just not clean to trade. I think every time we looked at it, we never saw an opportunity. We said, "Oh wow, that's clean to trade." I believe Brian might have done a few shorts on this one that turned out pretty good. But other than that, I haven't seen anybody else trade this successfully. All right, and BIX, what do we have here? No activity. And then last one, looks like this thing changed a bit, but last one here, BLNK is popping up now, but just right now, not much activity at the moment. MU daily, let's look at the MU daily chart. Let's see. Oh, had a nice bounce day yesterday. Yeah, daily looks interesting, guys. I mean, you have this beautiful hammer here off this moving average. So this is beautiful. And you got also this nice level here that hopefully we can hold. So MU's daily is definitely interesting, guys. We'll throw it on here. We'll come back to it. If we can get rid of some nasty ones here, we can keep MU and AMD. All right, so let's go back to where we were. So MDR is dropping down quite a bit. Let's look at what the float is on MDR. They are down 36%. Wow. So it's a mid flow here, and 179 million shares flow. I love the daily. Look what the daily is sitting at right on here. The only reason this is not on our gappers list is because it's below the 50 cents ATR. But this one looks like it's going to be in play, guys. It's a huge drop. Not sure what the news is on this. Norm, not sure if you've seen anything. But this one looks like it's going to be very active this morning. We do have shares for short. Yeah, we do have shares for short on this one. So we can throw this up here and see what we can get out of this one. So that's a good one.
They had earnings last night.
Earnings? All right, someone's definitely getting fired today. This is horrible here. So good luck to them and their next opportunity. What else we have here? MU.
Maybe they can become a trader. COF. Take a look at COF.
Yes, COF. So COF down 5.1. Wow. Also earnings as well on this one?
No. So this is Capital One Financial. They reported yesterday that they had discovered a data breach, and 100 million customers in the U.S. and I believe 6 million in Canada potential personal information stolen.
Wow. All right. So we definitely can see something out of this. Let's put this down here as possible. We have a lot on this list, but we're going to clean this up. A lot of it doesn't look great. This one, it's got some news on it. It is a NYSE stock, so they tend not to have the best, cleanest pre-market activity. Right now, it's pretty low, but with that type of news, we definitely want to be ready. At least have some levels for this and see if it hits our turbo breakdown, and we can watch it go one way or the other or break up. All right, so COF. What else, guys? Let's see if we can find two more. All right, MRK. So MRK here, volume starting to creep in, I see. Not the greatest pre-market activity, but it's a NYSE stock. We do have shares for short as well. Looks like it's starting to get going. It is up 2.3. Daily chart is okay, not the greatest, but I do see some levels in here. This all-time high, or where are we sitting on MRK? Big drop in April we see there on the daily. Yeah, it looks like we're near the all-time high, looks like. So this is could be interesting. They're popping up quite a bit after taking this nice dip here. We got some moving averages all below us here, and then a possible area to run up. What I don't like about it right now is the pre-market activity. But again, we'll give it a chance. We'll put it on here and we'll come back to it. All right, guys, let's get to some announcements, and then we'll go over this list. I know it's a lot on here, but there's a lot that doesn't look great that we're gonna easily peel off this watch list. What do we have today, Norm?
Oh, I apologize. All right. So this coming Friday, we've got the Phoenix meetup, August 2nd. We've got links in the on Facebook and in the form to RSVP for it. We've got on Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, our next in our series of YouTube Live Ask Me Anything. That's going to be William. I believe that's actually not taking place, so I apologize for that. Next was my notes got all out of whack. If you use Trade Ideas or you want to try Trade Ideas, they have their $8.99 special. They do it like 4 times a year for a full week. It's $8.99. Essentially, you're just paying for the data that they have to pay to people. Let's see here, and you can try that out. There's a link in our alerts above. And then really exciting news, Bearable Traders has been nominated for an award with the Benzinga FinTech Awards. So there's a link that ABL's posted up at the top. You can vote once per day per device. So ring it up for BBT on that. The link is up top, as I mentioned. And trade reviews. Eamon's going to be doing live trade reviews this week, this afternoon from 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern. And on Thursday as well, it looks like. So there's a couple of those. Those are the announcements that I have. If I'm missing anything, let me know.
Nope, that is perfect. All right, guys, so let's get into it. I see our gappers list is getting a bit bigger here. As you can see, some of the ones that we already have on here are starting to pop up. We'll look at STNE. STNE is one that we have not looked at yet. Let's see what's happening there. So STNE, not looking too great. Just starting to get some volume now. So yeah, nothing too exciting on that one at the moment. All right, so let's go over to PG. So PG at the moment is up 4.5. Let's get some levels in here. So high of the pre-market sitting at 121.66. I think we're all-time high, but I want to just check. If anybody has information, I will gladly take it. Yeah, we might be. Yeah, all-time high. So this is interesting, guys. Looks like all-time high on this one is 121.66. High of the pre-market at the moment. We might be cracking this here now. Looks like it has a lot of a movement towards the top after earnings. And then towards the bottom, I don't see any other levels in here besides the ones that we've been battling with over the last couple of weeks, 116 or so. So there's nothing really in here on PG. Nothing for us to mark. What we can do is we can go down in here, see where we've seen some hesitation. We can mark down here this 118. You also got a moving average here on the 5. We can mark this down also 117. So we'll look out for those areas as possibles on PG. So PG pretty active, 518,000 shares traded, up 4.6, and it looks like it might, again, tested this level here 3 times already. It might go for it one more time. Let's see what it does there. So PFE. PFE, what we have here. So PFE on the daily is okay. It did trade very well yesterday in this beautiful drop. We're at least going to put our levels on here just in case this hits our scanner. So it looks great. We have 40.33 low of the pre-market, high of the pre-market 41.12. And if we go back here, we see an area right around here at 39.93. It's a beautiful area of support. You have several locations on here, resistance in the past before it actually broke out. And then below that, we have 39.90. So we have an area here. We have some support as well. And this 38.18 maybe was from before, but I'm going to upgrade this now over here to this wick at 38.48. Is a better place for that. Towards the top, guys, after the pre-market high, you have plenty previous day close. You have previous day low, and then you have this nice area here of the drop from yesterday. So again, I don't think we'll get all the way up here. I don't think we're gonna get all the way down here, but after the day had yesterday, you know, if this thing really wants to dump here, anything's possible. So pretty choppy pre-market action right now. Not sure if it's gonna make the final cut, but we'll come back to it and look at it. So Under Armour looks great, guys. Very active. They just keep dropping here. So down 15.3 now, about to hit almost 1 million shares traded. Let's remove some of these levels. So let's go towards the bottom. I'm going to mark this one down here at 22.45. And the reason why is you can clearly see area of support and resistance. Look at this beautifulness here. It comes up, then heads right back down to retest this 22.45 before it goes on this nice run. Another area of support and resistance right over here. Well, resistance really at 24.04. You can see some areas again testing that resistance there towards the top. Then another one right here at 24.80. And then you have a clean one here on this moving average as well at 25. So plenty towards the top. This thing just keeps dropping. The low of the pre-market right now, I don't think it's going to last long the way this thing is going. 23.10. So we'll mark that down now, 23.10. Let's see if it can hold here. And look how that 23.10 is also an area of resistance in some of these days in here where it's been consolidating or taking off here. So if it can get below this 22.45, let's do one more towards the bottom because this is really taking a hit, guys. Look at the drop here. And just right there, we just went to the low of the pre-market. Let's get another one just in case because the way this thing is moving, it could be interesting what we can get out of this. So another level down here at 21.23, but we also got to look out for that 22, right? Whole dollar numbers can be important. So I like this level here because as you can see within this area, look at the pop, comes back and tests, pops, comes back and tests, pops, tests here for 2 days, and it breaks down, can hold, it breaks down, comes back and tests this 21.34 again. So I like that level there. Let's see what it does. Tons of volume, guys. Just cracking a million right now. Definitely one of my favorite ones this morning because I just love the way this pre-market action is building up pretty nice. BYND, I'm definitely gonna keep an eye on this, but not on my main watch list. I just want to see how it trades. We have some levels here. I'm gonna mark this one down and not the low of the pre-market because I think it's going to probably continue down past this moving average. So I have 177 up here. Towards the top, you got the low from yesterday, which is very near the pre-market high. Also, that low from yesterday here, you can see how it was resistance before and several days opening and closing around that $200 mark. Towards the bottom, if we can lose that, if you do have shares for sure, I don't. This area here at 166.68. Also, you can see a lot of support on here, resistance, support again, going back to early mid-June. So plenty of levels here. Again, I'm not going to watch this one on my main list. I'm going to remove it now, but I will keep an eye on it later on just to see how things are moving there after such a huge drop yesterday. SSNC, what do we have here? So this is the one that's, again, huge drop here at 16.6. I'm going to mark down the low of the pre-market sitting at 48.55, and then the high sitting at a 50, right at 50 actually. So we'll get in there. Towards the top, obviously the next level of resistance that I see is this one here, which was support back in June, 53.88. Let's go back and see what else we can find closer to the price action, breaking out of the high and low of the pre-market. So towards the top, we have an area right in here at 51.51. And then towards the bottom, an area of support right in here. And I'll tell you why I like this level around 46.09. So you see several days using as support, resistance, support, and then back down. If they loses this again, resistance on the way up. So usually when you have a level being tested both ways several times, it can be significant. So it's very close to that 46 dollar mark. So we'll see what we get out of this one. Right now, pre-market activity starting to get going. Didn't look great from here to here. Actually right here. Starting to get going now. Hopefully the volume can continue to come in and give us some good movement here, but needs to get definitely more volume and a better pre-market activity. AMD is active with some volume. Pre-market action looking better than the last couple of days. Level wise, we have plenty towards the top. Don't need to add any more. Having a very tough time getting out of this 35 and 34 range, right? A few times that it popped up above this 34.50ish or whatever that is, 34.22, comes right back down. We're bouncing off this moving average around 33, which is the low of yesterday, so we're not going to mark the low of the pre-market. But then towards the bottom, the nice support we have here is 32.25, 32.45 if we can break this moving average. So again, daily looks interesting. It can go either way. He can hold this moving average and head higher, or if it loses that, we can possibly hit 32.45. Now on MU's again not looking too great. Daily looks great, so we can possibly look for this in our scanners, but I'm not going to keep MU at the moment. Excuse me, where's that thing? Here it is. All right, turn that off. Okay, and next we have MDR. So MDR, again, huge drop on MDR. This thing is just finding no bottom at the moment. Just broke the low of the pre-market at 632, which actually it's right here. Yeah, 632, and then now the next level is 592 is an area of support in here. So again, pretty active today. 1.1 million shares traded so far. Towards the top high of the pre-market, 684. Above that, if we can, that 684 is really nice. Look at how it's acted as support on several days here. Above this, see if I could find something clean here that looks interesting. Looks like this area here might be one around 722. Not the cleanest, but you do have several days that are using it as support and resistance. Not the best daily, not the best level as like this one here. That's a very clean level. Several days hitting that 592, but that 722 is worth keeping there. Then you have another level that was resistance for a long time, 787. So right on here, several days banging their heads on that level before they break out. And same thing here, you lose it, head down to the 722 level, and then come back up, test this 787 before you go back to that 722 level, and then finally sold off. Now we need something below this 592. In case we lose this 592, we need something down here. Not sure if this is all-time low or what the situation is, but let's see if we can get something in the recent times. And it looks like it's not we're going back to 2004. Not the greatest thing. Usually when you go back this far, again, you don't want to put too much strength on these levels. I'll watch 550, right? So 550 will be an area where I'll be looking out for, because usually that's what's going to end up happening around the $550 mark. You're going to have some kind of a hesitation, a loss of momentum for sure. So 550 below 592 will be the one, and then I'll watch for 5, right? We'll watch for 5, obviously 525. All those areas are something you want to keep in mind. But MDR very active right now, guys. Tons of volume, looking very weak, being down 37%. It's quite a bit. OSTK, again, this is the one that moves very erratic, so you want to be careful. Breaking out of this range here that it was stuck in for a while, under 20. You can see yesterday had a big day. Right now, high of the pre-market sitting at 23.75. So I'm going to mark that down. And I know I think we might have something above here. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Let's get a level towards the top in this area. Zoom in here. Above this 23.76, which is the high of the pre-market, we have an area right here, 25.68, and then one up here also around 28.26. Clearly see a lot of resistance and support on that 28.26. So, whoops, let's not move that. That was up there. Let's keep it there. So plenty of levels here on OSTK, but again, guys, this one you want to be very, very careful, as it can move very aggressively. All right, so Apple, possible for later on today, so we'll remove it for now. Facebook, same situation. I do like the daily on Facebook. It just looks like it wants to drop here. Nvidia not doing much, as Norm mentioned today, same as Roku. COF is a good possible for today. MDR we have at the top, so we'll remove it from down here. MRK, so MRK, this is still doesn't have great volume. So pre-market activity at the moment, not looking great. We can get some levels in here. 86.41 high of the pre-market, sorry, 86.49 high of the pre-market, and then low of the pre-market, very close to this level, this area here around 83, where you have your high from yesterday, and actually several days using it as resistance. But I do like this level here also at 86.64, so mark that one down. And then towards the top of the pre-market, see, it's not clean in here. So when you have these daily charts that are not clean, very difficult to find levels. But I'm going to do my best to probably keep this one 85. You have this day here, this one here, this one here, and this one here, testing that 85.50. I just want to have something in between this high of the pre-market, because that's a long way to go. You want to keep something on there, and also watch out for 85. Obviously, if this thing goes higher, 85 could be an area where you're going to have some loss of momentum. VLRX for the low float team. Again, for me, I'm not going to keep it, but it is looking very active. 1.4 million shares traded. Not doing much right now, consolidating sideways. But again, with everything else that we have here, I don't have space to even watch it, so I'm just going to remove it for me personally. So let's just 1 second look, guys, everything we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, a little too many. So PG is losing it here. Couldn't break that 121.63. We do have shares for sure, some good volume. This one is nice today, guys, so this is be good to watch. PFE is very choppy, not doing much here. It's kind of going sideways, although that's how it looked yesterday, and I took it off the list, and it traded very, very well. So let's go back to how it traded yesterday, right? Look at this beautiful trade yesterday, right? So PFE could be a possible, but right now the pre-market activity not looking all that great. UA has a beautiful pre-market activity, lost its 23.13, which was the low of the pre-market at that time, heading to that 22.45. We need this to come down and wait for us so we can trade this. moving way too much. So I'm just gonna see if we have another level in here. Yeah, actually this 22 is good. I'm gonna mark down 21.87 looks good here. You also have a moving average below that, but man, we need this to stop and wait for us. SSNC, I love the drop, guys. 16.2 here. It looks like it's bouncing back a bit, so let's keep it on here for now. But again, the pre-market activity is not looking great, but I love the daily, and the volume looks good at the moment. So let's see what it does in the before the open. AMD is not doing much. You know what, I'm gonna get rid of AMD for now, so I can watch SSNC and MDR. I think MDR also very, very interesting on the daily as well. We can see what we can get out of that, sitting right at the low of the pre-market right now. And again, it just looks very weak, but it is down 37.3, so don't have a short bias. Let's wait to see what happens at the open, and if we can get some kind of moves. I agree, AMD does look great today, but again, just have some other ones that I want to keep an eye on aside from AMD this morning. And then COF, this is based on news of a data breach, right? We got the right company?
Yep.
All right, so let's look at a level here, 93.12, 93.98. Low of the pre-markets right now is at 91.25. It looks like it's about to lose it. And then towards the bottom, let's get one of the cleanest levels on here. Probably is this one here, 89.89. So that's what we have, guys. A lot going on here. I might add AMD depending how SSNC looks. Again, not looking great right now, but I do like the daily. Guys, take care on YouTube. Thank you for joining us this morning, and we will see you tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern Time.
All right. Good morning, Andrew. Guys on YouTube, take care. Trade safe. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.